What's going on, everyone? So, Jaxson Hayes. This is just not a good series, not a good matchup for him. He's a liability out there, is really what he is. JJ Redick isn't playing him a ton of minutes, so it's not like the end of the world. And I don't think you don't play him at all, right? I wouldn't hate it, right? Like if you told me Lakers just started small ball, right, with like Doe in place of Jaxson Hayes or Jared Vanderbilt in place of Jaxson Hayes, fine. I really wouldn't complain about it. I'd be like, hey, let's see how this goes. But I do think you kind of stick with it because I don't want to lose Jaxson Hayes for future rounds, right? Because Jaxson Hayes will be more impactful and better come, especially if we play the Warriors, a Warrior series, right? Because now he actually has some advantages, right? Because of his athleticism and his size and his length. Right. So now you have some real advantages in that matchup. And then even a Houston series, right? Because they're going to be so focused on LeBron, Reeves, and Luka. I think you're going to have that lob threat a lot. And Şengün isn't the defender and just force that Rudy Gobert is. Like you see Rudy Gobert, he's just kind of bodying and moving. Hey, I want you over here now. Nah, second thought I want you over here. Like he's just moving him around like a little kid at times. Right? The first play of the game was just him just like basically just bullying Jaxson Hayes like he wasn't even there. Like, stop, get off. Ew, you got my shirt dirty. Like it's just like, dang, dude. Like, and so again, I think that this particular series, it's not good. The physicality, particularly on the inside, is not good for Jaxson Hayes. Again, he's like 220 pounds soaking wet, right? I think that, Rudy Gobert is big enough, long enough, and accounts for the lob threat. So Jaxson Hayes, even offensively, you're not getting the exposure from him the way that you would against some of the other matchups on the offensive side, right? Rudy Gobert he's just plopped in the paint, where, most defenders, most interior centers, right? You kind of can brain out a little bit and stuff. Like Rudy Gobert knows, like, look, I can't defend out on the perimeter, right? And Lakers keep trying to switch him to Luka, and Luka just keeps exposing him, right? Like over and over and over again. So, but when Luka's not out there, they're trying to just kind of keep him in the paint, and then again keep an account of Jaxson Hayes. But it's just, again, I just think that this is a terrible matchup for him. I just think that this is the matchup where, like, even a Jokic matchup, I think would be better. Not defensively, I think he's continuing to get bodied, but I think offensively he'd have more of an impact because, again, Jokic isn't, like, he's more focused on that. Or Rudy Gobert, because he is, say what you want about Rudy Gobert, he is an excellent defensive player, right? Multiple, 4-time defensive player of the year for a reason. And it's because he does account for that lob threat. He is keeping an eye on Jaxson Hayes. He's kind of watching and monitoring where everyone's at. And he's being that interior defensive anchor, right? So Jaxson Hayes, you're seeing not be as impactful. And then, so he's not having the impact on the offensive side and just creating advantage plays for the Lakers. But defensively, he can't stop anybody. And it's too physical for him. And he's not able, like, it's just essentially unplayable this series, right? So again, I don't hate if they were to just completely, like, if they just moved him out of the starting rotation. The only reason I wouldn't, and my biggest argument for it, is I don't want to lose him, right? Like I don't want to see Jaxson Hayes now start to kind of fade out because we need him for those other series, right? We go and we play, the Warriors in the second round, right? Again, Jaxson Hayes actually has real value in that matchup, rebounding wise, and just being that lob threat, and even now being somewhat of a rim to turn, right? And then say you go and play a Thunder team, right? Again, Jaxson Hayes actually has some value. Isaiah Hartenstein is just essentially another acts better than Jaxson Hayes, but essentially kind of gives the same thing that we want from Jaxson Hayes, right? He's not this dominant low post, just bullying and bodying and dominating guys, right? Like he's there to just be a high energy rebounder, shot blocker, right? Versatile, just energy guy, and he does it great, right? Hartenstein is exactly what we want Jaxson Hayes to be. But point is that as we progress throughout the playoffs, again, we still got to beat Minnesota. I want to be fair to Minnesota. Minnesota still going to be a tough matchup, which is why I didn't want to play them in the first round. I'm not against playing them. And look, I always say, I want all the smoke. We're here. I'll take it. Not against it. But if I could choose, like if I had my preferable matchup, it wasn't Minnesota. Minnesota was a team that I wanted to see towards the end or even in the second round when we already kind of got, because you see the Lakers' lack of rhythm and, they're working on some things, trying to figure out some things, right? Like you knew you were going to get them in the first round. First year head coach, first year with Luka on the roster, first year LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves are playing together in the postseason. You're going to have to figure some stuff out. Probably going to lose a game or two that you wouldn't have lost otherwise, right? And now on top of that, you're playing a team in Minnesota that is just the most physical team in all of basketball that have the size. And one of the reasons they give everybody problems is because of their physicality and their interior size and all whatnot, right? So you're playing one of like the worst teams to play when you're trying to figure stuff out and get into a rhythm and getting all those things, because you can't just like easily get to the basket. You can't just beat guys off the dribble and get to the, no, like you're getting clothesline and taken out and all kinds of things, right? So again, like guys hitting shots will help a lot. If guys start hitting shots too, that might help Jaxson Hayes be more effective, particularly on the offensive side. Because right now, Lakers can't throw a rock into the ocean offensively. So, if you're Minnesota, you're like, just keep the defense, like control the paint, right? But if guys start hitting shots and now you can't help when Luka gets into the teeth of the defense or Reeves or LeBron or whatever, and now you're kicking out shooters and those guys are knocking down those shots and hitting those shots and stuff, right? Well, now guys have to go out and challenge. So now, Rudy Gobert, Luka's coming in, the defender's kind of playing this like cat and mouse game, like, do I go help? Do I keep on the defender, right? Whatever. Now Rudy Gobert's got to step up, and then boom, easy lob to Jaxson Hayes, right? Like, guys start hitting shots, it'll open up everything else that you want to do, and maybe Jaxson Hayes kind of get more impactful, get more effective. Because right now, again, he's essentially a non-factor in his lack of discipline and his lack of, which, again, I've talked about this very heavily, right? I was like, look, I love Jaxson Hayes, but he's not a starting center. He's not. I don't mind. Like, I'm all for the Lakers keeping him. If the Lakers want to keep him long term and, he's on the roster next year, I'm fine with it, right? But to me, he's kind of more of like that second, third center, right? Like, just use an example. Like, say we go and get Mark Williams in the offseason. Like, Mark Williams now is your skill center, starting center, and then go get like a Clint Capella for like just a big physical interior center. And then like keep Jaxson Hayes as like your JaVale McGee floor running, get out, push the pace and transition type thing, athletic type of center, right? Like, that's kind of where I look at Jaxson Hayes is like your backup, or that like on a random night, hey, we need you to start during the regular season. Sure, no problem. But in the postseason, it's like he's not what you want as a starter. So anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Feel your thoughts. Agree with me? Disagree with me? Kind of mixed in the middle? However you feel. Either way, I love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. It's me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.